Good morning, where you are. So today we are privileged to have Professor Ali El-Keblawy, I hope I pronounced it well, from the University of Sharjah, and who is a leading figure in the field of plant ecology and environmental sustainability. So Professor Al-Keblawy earned his PhD in desert plant ecology in 1994 from Tanta University in Egypt through a joint supervision program with University of Windsor in Canada. And he is currently the director of the Sharjah Seed Bank and Herbarium at the Sharjah Research Academy and an associate professor in the Department of Applied Biology at the University of Sharjah too. So Professor Al-Keblawy is a renowned expert whose work has significantly advanced our understanding of native plant species in arid environments. With a distinguished career spanning decades, his research focuses on the role of native plants in sustainable landscaping, desert restoration, and green innovations. His contributions have been instrumental in promoting the ecological and cultural value of the UAE unique flora while addressing critical challenges such as biodiversity conservation and climate resilience. And in today's seminars titled Using UAE Native Plants for Sustainable Landscapes, Desert Restoration and Green Innovations, Professor Al-Keblawy will share his expertise on how we can harness the incredible potential of native plants to transform our environment. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Professor Ali Al-Keblawy, and we are super happy to see you here. And please, whenever you want, Professor Al-Keblawy.
Thank you for this very nice presentation, introduction. I'm really happy and thank you for inviting me to be with you today. Yes, as I mentioned, I am working here for the last 25, 26 years in United Arab Emirates University, Al Ain for 13 years, and later in University of Sharjah. At the beginning, my work was mainly focusing on ecology of desert plants, but I developed it to be more applied. Especially when I moved here to Sharjah in biotechnology department. So I try to make it more diverse, applied research for sustainability. So this is why I'm talking about some of our applications of using native plants here in the Emirates. So, okay. So first, what are the native plants? Definitely, here we have in the Emirates around 800 native plants that are evolved naturally under the local environmental conditions, where temperature is very high, drought is very severe, salinity, too many challenges actually here. So this is why native plants adapted for very high temperature that can reach 50 degrees during the summer, for drought, especially some year like this year, we didn't receive any water in Sharjah here till now, and high salinity. So they also resistant to most kind of the local environmental stresses. I'm not sure I have this down bar. I'm not sure how to hide it. You might not see it, but here actually it is hidden. It is hide some part of the slide down. But anyway, I will try to adapt with it, like our plants. So, so native plants for agriculture production. We really need to develop some cash crop, especially if we are trying to grow the conventional crops in such a challenging environment. It is hard to be sustainable. So this is why we try to develop new cash crop that use little water and tolerate high temperature conditions. under the local environment and could be growing under even marginal habitat where soil fertility is very low. So we'll start first with a project that I started in 2013. Actually, it is started earlier in Abu Dhabi with the environmental agency Dubai, where we started a trial for introducing native plants in Abu Dhabi. And I believe now you can see native plants in many places in the main streets of Abu Dhabi. So we started this initiative early in 2009. In 2013, I got like a big project from Qatar Foundations with $1 million, through which we defined around 120 species have the potential to be used in landscaping city, and we propagated many of them. So let's go through what are the most important plants that we discover, and we found that they have potential for greening our cities. So the advantage of using native plants, actually, they don't need fertilizer, they don't need additional water, and they need almost zero or no maintenance. And the most important, they can get only the rainfall could be enough, or even the groundwater, which is very close to the ground surface in the city, they cannot survive without any water. And they can increase the natural landscape. It could be like a natural meteor, which will enhance the native flora and fauna. So they never be invasive. So, and this is the most important, because many of the exotic plants, and we have here the model plant, Prosopis gilliflora, mesquite, which now invading everywhere, and it is initially introduced to the country for the purpose of afforestation and landscaping. So we really need to reduce also the synthetic chemicals, pesticides, and the chemicals that could be carcinogenic and mutagenic. So natural landscaping will reduce both air and noise pollution. So many advantages actually could be achieved. And actually, this is part of a project that we implemented in Al Ain, in Tuam Hospital, where we grow in native plant, and until now they are using native plants in greening the all camp there in Tuam Hospital, in the residential area for nurse, for doctors, for all the accommodation there. It is a landscape with native plants, and here is many species of Polycaria. So we'll talk about most of them now. Here is one of the Polycaria. I really would like to make this bar down disappear. So I'm not sure how, if any can help me, because really I cannot see the names down here.
I bet if you look on the right bottom up of your screen, there is kind of way to view, and you can change the view, the way you are viewing your bar, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I will try.
You go on the right, yes, there, I don't see, yes, you can, if you are screen sharing, and then,
Because it is still here, down here. Can you see this bar or no?
yes, we see the bar. I don't know how to change it, actually. I always forgot. Does anyone know how to do that?
If you are using
Okay, it
two
is moved, actually.
computers,
Yes, it is movable. Yes. Okay, good.
if you
Yes.
are using, yeah.
No, it's fine. Now it is movable. I can move it anywhere. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So again, this is part of our Qatar Foundation demonstration site, where we grow in Polycaria, Salvia aegyptiaca. This is what we call it. This is, excuse me, actually, I am getting out of cache memory. So most of the species just evaporate from my memory for now, but we will get them soon. Yeah, this is Polycaria glutinosa. Again, this is Polycaria glutinosa, and this is from natural habitat. Actually, this species is not here in the Emirates. It is in Qatar, Polycaria crispa, and actually it is just growing nicely, very hardy, and produce huge amount of inflorescence with very nice color. This is Ranterium, our Ranterium, which is common in the desert, I mean, mainly on sandy dunes. And actually it showed very nice growth within our site. And this is from our demonstration site in Qatar with 15-month-old Ranterium. We have here, again, this is from Tuam, Ticrium stoichiosinum, and this is Romix. This is the edible plant that is people go to the mountainous area to collect it. Yes, again, this is the same species, Ticrium, which we call it here Gada, one of the most important actually medicinal plant. Local people know it very well and use it till now, and you can find it in markets now in the shop that are selling products for herbal medicine. So this is one of the species that we grow in, Lavandula subundula, which is our lavender. This is the local variety of the lavender. And this is a very important convolvulus species that is actually growing Cephalopoda, which is growing mainly on the sandy habitats. So this species only during morning up to the noon, up to the 11 o'clock, you can find the flower opening, but its silver color make it perfect. Now we are growing many of these plants in the Zayed Museum, National Museum or Zayed National Museum in Saadiyat Island. It is growing nicely, or most of these plants actually are growing nicely there. Another species of convolvulus virgatus from the mountainous area. This is very common plants, Herba javanica, which is very nice silver color and very white inflorescence. It is actually look like cotton, and they use, local people, they use it here to make the pillow and even make this for cover and for mattress. So it is very important plant, and medicinally they use it also. Again, this is a part of landscape where growing Herba javanica with grass, which is Aristida addisons. So both of them giving good combination in hardy landscape. This is the combinations of different native plants. We growing them in a camp, labor camp in Qatar, and you will find many photos from this camp. So here again, it is a part of the camp where you can find the Senna italica, Tephrosia, and many other plants. So just only native plants. The same camp. Here again, the same camp where we growing Tephrosia, we growing Senna, we growing, I think this is again Tephrosia nobica, not Apollina. Other plants. So again, this is from Qatar, which is very important intertidal zone where we can find many different varieties of colorful plants growing in the intertidal zone. Most of these plants are covered with the high tides, but again, those combinations could be perfect if we are trying to landscape the coastal area. So coastal area that could be irrigated directly from the seawater, and plants could be flushed because they are all are halophytes and they are perfect for landscaping. And we really would like, especially in all islands, Adiyat, yes, we have many big area, huge area that the coastal area could be growing with halophytes that could be flushed with seawater once a day or maybe twice a week or something like this. So this could be a good option that if anybody interested to use native halophytes for landscaping the coastal area will be perfect option. So in addition, we would like to use them for the production or adopt some of them for biofuel production. We'll take some example, Moringa peregrina. Definitely, we know Moringa olivera, which is a perfect plant for producing oily seeds that have around more than 50% of their dry weight oil, high quality oil. So again, our Moringa peregrina, it has a potential source, a potential to be a good source for biodiesel and edible oil, and at the same time could be used for landscaping our city. Actually, this plant is linked to the hair culture of the Emirati people. So he's a friend, and actually he growing several trees of Moringa, not for producing oil or, but just only to take the leaves here. Whenever they cut the leaf, it comes more dense, and they wrap the beef mutton with such leaf. It gives it perfect flavor, and they produce very nice dish from tanura, which they bury them under the ground. So it is something that they doing it regularly, but in the past they used to do this in the big celebrations. So till now, many people in Abu Dhabi, El Ain, Oman are still doing this practice. So I think we don't need more than such a plant, such a nice plants in our city. So let's see, actually it can reach for up to like 4 to 15 meter height, this Moringa, which is native to all Arabian Peninsula, and it could go down to the southern Arabia and even Somalia. This is general description, but we don't actually interested to go for descriptions of the height, seeds, all of these. But what we can say, it has ecological, economical, and medicinal importance. So we did several publications. This is one study that we conducted in Jabal Hafid, where, as you can see, a small tree growing in a rocky area, and it produced hundreds of small pods, the pods full of seeds. So actually, it is growing in very hardy rocky soil without any kind of soil. It is just only rocks. So this species has been growing as a crop on marginal land with high temperature and with low water availability. So in this area, hard to find other plant, other agricultural crop to grow there. As you can see, almost growing in 100% rock here and there, very hard for any other plant to grow except these Cyperus cartilaginous, which is very important. Actually, we will see more about it later on. The analysis for this species, it's showing that the seeds has more than 50% oil and very rich with protein, small, little bit ash, carbohydrate little, fiber very little, and it is mainly oil and protein. So we grow in it, and easy to grow it. I grow in it here, even in my backyard. we grow it in the university. Within, this is actually like 9 months. Within 2 years, you can find it a big tree that start flowering and fruiting. So this is some of the most important properties of the oils that are extracted from these seeds. In fact, they call it Zayt el-Yusr, which is el-Yusr oil. So, which is a plant before this species called el-Yusr in Oman and in many parts. So it was the only source for edible oil that people use it. So if you use it, it is antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, antimicrobial, disinfectant, also to protect the liver, emollient, preservative. So many actually character for this oil that is extracted from Moringa. So yes, it is deeply tied to the people, local people here in the cultural heritage of local people. So people used it to extract oil by boiling the seeds with water and collecting oil from the surface of the water. It's called el-Yusra, which is very valuable oil for the local people. So it produced big amount of seeds. And really, this is what we would like to ask. If we have some landscape like this, I believe it will not cost water. It will help in producing a valuable product. And I can say that we studied this species extensively, and we defined hundreds of metabolites that actually within a species, several, I cannot say several, but hundreds really of metabolites that have a biological activity against many kinds of disease. So if we have such landscape in our cities, I believe it will be much better than exotic plants that need water. So another one, Citrullus colocynthis. So yeah, this is one which is one of the most common plants. If you go to the desert now, anywhere, especially after the heavy rain of the last year, you will find it cover huge area. So this is just only one plant, which I believe it can produce more than 100 kg of seeds. So it is very rich with unsaturated fatty acids, especially linoleic acid, that it make the oil similar to safflower, corn, cottonseed, sunflower, soybean, and sesame oil. So, which mean it is high quality oil that could be extracted from this. And the most important, it is the oil characters make it good source for producing biodiesel. So yes, this is again, it is the area. And this was actually not this year, but this year we have even more. We have very dense plants growing everywhere, even on the sandy dunes, where other plants have very little productivity. So actually, including it can treat many kinds of diseases, including diabetes, type 2, breast cancer. Also, it has anti-inflammatory and antibacterial compound that help fighting. And I can say here, 16 species of cucurbitine have been identified. All of them are anti-cancer compounds identified from this Citrullus. So we are running many actually metabolic studies, biological activity, and we publish several papers from this Citrullus, but still we need to make it as a large scale as a cash crop. So it is polyunsaturated fatty acid, very rich with polyunsaturated fatty acid. omega-3 and 6, which suggests that this oil might be used for seasoning or frying oil, mayonnaise, and the table margarine, and commercial natural antioxidants formation. Next species, actually, it is Cyperus conglomeratus. I believe everybody go to the natural habitat knows this species. It is the most abundant species on the sandy dune in the UAE. So we'll see it first, how it looks like. This is actually, we in rehabilitation.
Sorry, Professor El-Keblawy, there is just a slide bar in the middle of your slide. I don't know if you can move it.
I'm trying to moving it up down because actually it is. I try to put it in somewhere that I can read the text in the slide.
It's not easy. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this is the Cyperus conglomeratus. We try to use it in restoration of some desert area. So we just throw in the seeds. After heavy rain, it came very dense, as you can see here. Within few months, it reached to this size. So it is growing here as a monoculture on sandy dunes, which making this plant a perfect for sandy dune binding or binder for sandy dune, and could be like a cash crop for the production of edible oil and biodiesel. So yes, this is among few species that can tolerate the instability of sandy dunes and low nutrient content. So you can see here, even after sandstorms in very windy days, you can see still that the root are still try to fix the sandy dune. It has sandy sheaths, the root system has sandy sheaths that bind the soil particles and they make them very compacted, which mean try to combat desertifications. So yes, it is, by the way, one of the most important plants for feeding animal. Animal eat this plant. So it can escape the overgrazing because the prenating buds, the organs that enable plants to propagate are hidden under the soil. So even the plant disturb and eat the whole, if the animal disturb and eat the whole plant, still the buds under. Once water come, they are coming regenerated from the ground. So it has several purposes. Among these, fixing sandy dune, providing fodder for animals, and the most important, the seeds actually, as you can see here, this is from NYUAD, actually, where sandy dunes are mobile, still it is resisting the instability of the sandy dune and try to survive. And the most important, it is green even during the summer. If you see here, the water table, it is very deep, and the still plants in very high temperature in sandy soil with zero water content, still it is surviving, which is a proof that this plant getting its conventional water from atmosphere. So it is not conventional water, actually non-conventional water source. It is getting its water requirement from the atmosphere. So yes, it can tolerate grazing animals and the sand barrel. So yes, this species seed composition of it is very nutritious, rich with fat, around 30% fats, proteins, and essential minerals, very rich with unsaturated fatty acid, as we will see. And yes, the oil characterization showed it is similar to the sunflower oil. So the seed could serve as good animal feed. And by the way, nobody studied this species intensively. So when I worked in Al-Ain University, we collected these seeds, big amount of seeds of this plant, and I noticed that the paper bag where we store the seeds has like oil, contaminated with oil. So there is oil spots. So I thought that it might be exposed for any kind of fatty oil, but I discovered that this is in all seed bags where I am storing oil. So I asked one of my master degree to start working, and we reached for very interesting results. Seeds from Al-Ain, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Zakhir in Al-Ain. It showed that the fat actually can reach into 30%, and it is range between 29 up to 30%. Carbohydrate is very high, protein with reasonable content. So minerals also very rich with different kinds of minerals. And the most important is the unsaturated fatty acid, oleic acid and palmitic acid, linoleic acids. The most important unsaturated fatty acids are very rich. This is actually what we need. Greening our desert with this plant will protect our environment, and this is the message, and enhance our economy in a sustainable way. So we still have this natural plant, which we call it henna or Leusonia. So this is a species that is used for decorations and hair coloring, especially for ladies. So it is one of the cultural plants which could be also used in greening our deserts, greening our cities. And here we grow in it. This was actually in Abu Dhabi Environmental Agency project. And Salvadora was one of the most important cultural plants that the root could be used for cleaning the teeth, and it producing seed paste from this. So it can be actually rounded in different nice colors. So you can see it in different nice colors. So it is a perfect plant, and now it is introduced in a big scale in Abu Dhabi and Al-Ain. And here they are selling the parts of the roots for, it is actually religious and something related to the religion and culture of the people, and very important. Another native plant, Ziziphus, which is very important trees that could be growing everywhere. It has, again, they separated some organic, certified organic formations from cedr, from this Ziziphus spina crista, they call it cedr, from the leaf. This actually worked as care hair. It is something similar to henna, but with no color change. The color here not change, but has very similar advantage to henna. Strengthen the hair from the root to the tip, leave the hair full of shine, deep, gentle cleaning, ideal for those with fine limb hair, improve thickness of the hair. This is all with the certified formations that is already from Ziziphus plant. And here will come for the symbol of tolerance, the flag tree of the Emirates, the Prosopis cineraria, which now I can say it is one of the most important trees succeeded, and they are growing it everywhere in Al-Ain and in many places in Abu Dhabi. So this is, we have really challenges to sustain agriculture in the United Arab Emirates. As we mentioned, we have heat stress, we have drought, we have salinity, we have many issues actually. So arid and hyper-arid region like Emirates face significant challenges in agriculture due to the harsh conditions. So as we mentioned, we are facing water scarcity, limited rainfall, soil in many places saline, and even the groundwater now getting more salinity, so which means the soil is getting more saline. We have extreme temperature, we have frequent droughts. So this is make agriculture a real challenge here in the Emirates. So how to achieve sustainable agriculture? One way is to improve soil health and water retention. How we can improve the soil health and water retention? So actually, we need to increase soil organic matter. We need to encourage microbial diversity. All of these should be with need green innovations. And important innovations that we are currently working on here in our lab is producing biochar, nanochar, biostimulants, nanomaterials. So all of these could help in achieving sustainable agriculture. So we increase the soil organic matter. We encourage microbial diversity. So, and at the same time, we increase the soil ability. Biochar and organic amendments actually will maintain water retention or retain water in the soil. So increase their ability to hold water. And as a result, it reduces their need for frequent irrigation. So the second point, we need to increase resilience to environmental stresses. We need plants to tolerate salinity. So saline soil are common, and biochar, biostimulants, and the nanomaterials that we are working now can help plants managing the saline soil. Actually, in many of our publications, we found that using those amendments significantly enhances the ability to tolerate the salinity. So they also, those products enable the plant to tolerate drought and heat tolerance. So which means we can help plants in restoration project or even conventional agriculture and to be growing in a sustainable way by using such product or green innovation that I am talking about them. We need to create eco-friendly and economically visible practice. So actually our products are eco-friendly. So we reduce the reliance when we even used nanoparticles for treating pathogens, for controlling some pathogens. So in this case, we are reducing rely on the synthetic fertilizer and the pesticides that can harm the environment. So biochar, biostimulants derived from natural resource reduce environmental impact. Green nanomaterials will support soil health without toxic residues. So economic visibility, we aim to reduce the input cost, and improve the resource efficiency. So this is why we are focusing on developing a practice that could be scaled up and adapted for local farmer in the arid region. So understanding biochar, yes, it is a carbon-rich product that is produced through pyrolysis process, which means we heat organic biomass. Usually we are using agricultural wastes like date palm wastes, like mesquite. We'll see many sources actually. We burned it at very high temperature, and under low oxygen conditions. So it has many characters. The porous structure, which increase the soil aeration and water retention. It has huge surface area that enhance soil microbial activity and nutrient retention. It also can stabilize carbon. Carbon in biochar is a stable form, can stay for 1,000 years, which means we sequester carbon. So we are try to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide emissions, because otherwise, if this carbon is decomposed, it will release as a carbon dioxide and will work with the global climate or increasing carbon dioxide emissions, which cause global warming. So stabilizing carbon as biochar, one way to sequester carbon in a stable form. So we don't like to use carbon sequestration. This is what I talked. And we enhance soil health by enhancing soil. Biochar reduce the need for chemical fertilizers. So again, the process of biochar, we first select the feedstock. Second, we'll do the pyrolysis process, we call it, and we do the quality control. So here is actually different. We are using mesquite, our Prosopis gilliflora. This is one of the most serious plants here in the country. We are using date palm wastes. We are using halophytes to produce biochar, syngas, and pyrolysis. And depending on the conditions of the pyrolysis, you can control how much biochar is produced and the quality of biochar, and the other biofuel component could be also controlled. If you would like to convert it mainly into biofuel, still you can do this with little biochar. So yes, it has the feedstocks that we are using can affect the pore size and the distribution. It can affect the surface area and the internal volume, and it can affect the mineral content. It can affect the pH. Here is some actually of our feedstocks that we are trying to use. We use some of them, but we are trying to use others. Date palm residues, cucumber, all farm actually. Natural could be from the invasive mesquites. Halophytes, we have several species, as we will see. Sea grasses, we have many. Macroalgae, brown algae, we have many. So again, this is the process. And here is the case for Prosopis gilliflora, wave or mesquite. So this is a satellite image. Actually, it was in 2000. And this area, I intensively studied it for many issues actually in 2000. 30 years before that time, which means in 1970, this area was almost barren of any vegetation. None of those forest plants, none of these plants was there. So the main issue of this species, it has very deep root systems that can abstract the groundwater, deplete the groundwater. It produces chemicals that can kill our native plants, allelochemicals. It produces big amounts of pollen grain that can cause allergy for sensitive people. So actually, they tried in Ras El Khaimah to control it, but as you can see, this is a farm. So they try to control it, but once they cut it, it comes even more dense. You cut one, you get 100 in the same place. So it has advantageous roots that are carried on the surface or superficial horizontal root system, that once you cut the crown, the buds will be activated to produce new crowns. So it is really a big problem. It is killing our very generous tree, So our Gulf accommodated animal, goat, sheep, and the camels under them. So before they leave, they lift the feces with the seeds of this invasive plant. So with time, they grow and start to compete. Actually, it has in the root system, we isolated a kind of endophytic bacteria, Pentoya, that currently we discovered that it enables the plants to enable it or enhance any kind of crop to grow and to tolerate many kind of stresses. So this is an international team working with me, and we reach it for good deserts. And here is some other halophytes that could be used for biochar as a feedstock for biochar. Yes, this is Arsoricnemon infugera. This is Zygophyllum salsula Arsoricnemon community from 3 halophytes. Halopeplus and Halocnemon, another community. Suzevium, this is very important plant that you can find it with very nice color, also could be used in landscape and sandy dune and salty area where salty crusts are there, very high salinity. Importance of biochar in desert agriculture. Yes, we talked about this. It holds water. It has high porosity and the surface area. Actually has high carbon exchange capacity. It absorbs excess salts, which reduce the salinity effect on plants. So it enhances the microbial activity community. So this is several of our actually results of the importance of biochar. What is biostimulants? Actually, we extracted even from halophytes. Now we are working mainly with halophyte. The main concept here, those plant halophytes and wave, Prosopis gilliflora, mesquite, they contain metabolites that enable those plants to survive the harsh environment, and we hypothesize that they have metabolites that enable them to do that. So we extracting those metabolites, loading the metabolites on the biochar service in nano biochar and nano material, nano clay, nano material to enhance their ability. So they work as a carrier for those biostimulants and treating plants with those biostimulants, either individually or in combinations, loaded on different biochar or nanomaterials, enhance their ability to increase the plant growth and their resilience to most of the environmental stresses. So I will stop here and will take time for more questions. I still have more slides for if we would like to continue, but I would prefer to open the door for questions to benefit more from our discussion.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Professor El-Keblawy. Do you have any question in the audience? I'm sure there are many questions, so don't be shy. So we still have 10 minutes for questions. So.
I have a question.
Thank you.
Hi. So one of the tree you study, the prosopis, right? Can do symbiosis with rhizobia, correct?
Sorry, yes, again, because I was busy in finding how to go back for my screen.
No worries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, your
So
question.
you presented one slide about prosopis, right? Tree.
Yes.
That can interact with rhizobia. So I imagine that you have local rhizobia strain in the soil. And I was wondering if you know if these rhizobia are also compatible with like Western crops. And so like, can you use the same strain of rhizobia, or are they very specific to or very adapted to the local environment to improve some leguminous plant, for example, of normal crops?
Yeah, thank you. Very important question. Actually, we isolated endophytic bacteria from inside the plant, but we worked with different types of microbes associated because we have a questions, and we just recently, last month, we published paper in Journal of Arid Environments where we focused on the impact of soil microbial community on like rhizobia and all, because we found that prosopis can come without any microbial association, and it can use the local rhizobia to form nodules and to fix nitrogen. So they can use any local variety here. But yes, definitely, many kinds of rhizobia that are currently associated with prosopis could be adopted for producing consortium of microbes that can fix nitrogen, and not only fix nitrogen, but solubilize phosphorus, sulfur, and enhance the plant's ability for taking or absorbing important nutrients.
And modern crop, like, I don't know, peas or soybean and everything, do you think they could interact with the local rhizobia?
Excuse me, I just need to close the door. Students outside making too much noise.
No worry.
Sorry for that.
No, no worries. Now, I don't know much about the agriculture there, but do you know if like crops such as soybean or any other leguminous can grow in local soil and interact with the rhizobia there?
Actually, I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I don't know if it's tested.
yeah, I'm not sure, but really we need to find good consortium from different kind of microbe, mycorrhiza from the local soil to enhance, because what I noticed here, most of the microbial consortium and the mycorrhiza are imported from outside, which means they cannot adapt for such a local environment with high temperature, with salinity, with drought. So we need to define a good consortium that could be applied for agriculture here in our local environment.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bruno. Other question? Actually, I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. There was a slide where you mentioned one of the plants is producing a high palmitic acid percentage in their lipids, but unfortunately the bar was hiding the name of the plant. Can you go back to that slide, please?
Sure, yes. Actually, I am out, but we have 3 species that are very rich with unsaturated fatty acids. The first is Moringa peregrina, Shua. The local name here is Shua.
Sure.
And the second handle, which is Citrullus colocynthis, الحنظل.
Yeah.
The third is Cyperus conglomeratus, the one that can tolerate the sand dune instability and fix sand dune, and is a good fodder for plant.
Yeah. Do you know if any one of these plants are being used as an alternative source for palm oil in the UAE?
Not yet. In Saudi Arabia, they started projects with Moringa, but unfortunately, again, they focusing on Moringa olivera, the Indian one. But little attention now for, they are trying with a trial on our local Moringa peregrina. And recently, I discovered that there is hybrid between the Indian and Arabian Moringa, and it is really very interesting new field that people can focus more on this, which, like all the character in intermediate between the Indian and the Arabian Moringa. So too much studies, especially there are thousands of research on the Indian one. The Arabian one, little research being done, but the new hybrid, I believe this is a good chance for anybody to explore it in all aspects.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rod, you have a question?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, there is a bit of weird
How about now?
sound.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you for your interesting talk. I did have some question about that oleifera that you just mentioned. So I'm working in Saudi Arabia, and my understanding, at least, that in Saudi the folks are just they don't like the hybrid because they really want to try to promote their native species. So they're trying to actually develop markers to eradicate hybrids as well as the oleifera species. Just a comment there. Do you have problems in the UAE with other invasives like the prickly pear, the opuntia? Have you? That's a big problem in Saudi as well.
Actually, the only one that I consider it as invasive because it can grow in natural habitat is mesquite or Prosopa gilliflora. But still, Conocarpus is growing everywhere. It is actually making too much troubles, especially using too much water, distracting the infrastructure. So it is really making too much troubles, but still, because it cannot escape and grow naturally without human care, I cannot consider it as invasive. The only one that is already escaped and growing almost everywhere here in the country, it is mesquite.
Okay. I just wanted to make one more comment, if you don't mind. So, one thing we've started here at KAUST is what we call the KSA Native Genome Project, and we've been developing some genomic resources for many of the species that you've been mentioning, including Salvador persica, Ziziphus spina crista, Moringa, peregrina, and we would be happy to share those resources with your group, as well as collaborate further on cross country collaborations to try to learn more about these species and see if we can breed new varieties.
Sure. Actually, it is not only that, but we can, because I am originally from Egypt, North Africa. So I believe the climatic diversity of the climatic factor, where all of these species are present in Emirates, Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, with different climatic environments. So definitely they are producing different metabolites to be able to survive. And those are controlled by genes. So definitely some genes are upregulated here or in Saudi, but downregulated in Egypt. So this can help us how plants can get ready for global change, because here I'm working with the same species at different climatic zones. So by studying the metabolic profiles and the gene expressions, we can get more insights about how those plants can deal with the upcoming global change. So
that's fantastic. Actually, Salim Al-Bibi at KAUST has developed some baseline metabolic profiles for the native species that we've been working with. So that would be a great comparison to work with the
If you
compare
interested
our
also,
data with your data.
yeah, great. If you're interested also, we are starting to work on a meta project, meta database for making the metabolic profile for all native plants in the Emirates, and this could be expanded for Saudi Arabia. This will help us, and this will be not only once, but it will be for every species at different seasons, at different time in their life cycle, where they are exposed to different environmental stresses. So metabolic profile, and we try to use the AI in identifying those metabolites, linking them to global databases. So in this case, we can understand more about how plants can deal with the stresses of environmental condition and how we can use those metabolites in many ways, including pharmaceuticals and in producing new and designing new drugs.
Excellent. I'll discuss this with our team, and we can get together to talk more about this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So there are a couple of questions. So first, Mirko.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my camera doesn't work. I don't know why. But okay, I work for Professor Rodwing. It looks like I'm talking to the phone, but this is my headset. So yeah, we have assembled a lot of native genomes. So we have I have a chromosome scale assembly of Salvadora of 2 vouchers from 2 different locations. We also have assembly of Ziziphus for 2 locations as well, which is more tricky. We're still not sure about the ploidy. It can be hexaploid or even higher. So if you have genomic data, maybe we can talk about that. We can discuss.
Unfortunately, I am mainly plant ecologist and
okay.
Working with more about, yeah, I'm working more interdisciplinary approach, but we don't have the genetic database for this stage. And I did work on them personally.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mirko. And we will probably take the 2 last question from Mariam and Mab, and then we will probably have to stop to fit on the time. So Mariam, please.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes.
First, thank you for the rich presentation. And I have a question. You presented a slide talking about this plant being planted in deserts that is provided as resistant to sand dunes and offering an animal feed. And now I have a concern. I found found that that you are using monoculture using this species. So I can see the short-term benefit, but my concern is concerning the long-term issue here. Like, is there a challenge concerning the long-term, as monoculture is really like reduces biodiversity, hence could affect the soil health? Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Definitely, you are absolutely right. We are not encouraging monoculture. Monoculture, we are against that. But this was like a trial where we just disturbed the soil, dispersed the seeds, and fortunately, there was heavy rain. So all the soil growing with this plant as a monoculture. But definitely, if we are doing restoration programs, this restoration program should be balanced between several species, keystone species in the region that can enhance the diversity, that can accommodate other species to grow next to them. And by this way, yes, it will be long-term sustainability for restoration program. Thank you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mab?
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Matt?
I'm good. How are you?
Actually,
I don't have a question. I just want to say hi to Dr. Ali. Actually, he was my advisor in my undergrad. This was 12 years ago, and he gave me the Biology 1 course. So it's really nice 12 years later to meet again here in the seminar. I just want to say hi, and like it's really nice to be here, really.
thank you.
Thanks a lot. Mirko, do you still have a question, or it's just your hand that has been raised from before? Ah, okay, perfect. You answered my question. Okay, so thanks a lot for this very insightful presentation, Professor Keblawy. I bet we have to stop there. I just have a small question, and it's much more related to my evolutionary biologist background. And I was thinking about Moringa peregrina. So you told that it is used locally by the community and so on. Do you think it's can you say that it's a domesticated species? Do you have a domestication syndrome? Is there wild versus domesticated populations? How do you see that?
Yes, I think in Elaine, they already domesticated this plant, growing it in their backyard. And it growing nicely, which is a proof that this plant could be used as a cash crop. So they growing it with almost with no water, just to get benefit from the groundwater. And they harvest it regularly to get the leaves to wrap the beef and the mutton to prepare their very delicious dish. So I really encourage, if we have it in our cities, I believe we can recreate some part which is already lost in our culture. So we'll encourage people to do this dish again, especially for the young generation. Actually, I didn't mention another point that we recently published this year, that many of those native plants, we found them have high ability to remediate the soil from the heavy metals. So they absorbed the heavy metals from the soil with high quantities. So this is another way to use them in remediating and clean to clean the soil from the heavy metal. I mean, urban soil within the city from the heavy metal.
Okay, fantastic. Fascinating, nice. So I don't know if there is any more question in the audience. No more questions. So I want to thank you again, Professor El-Keblawy. It was a pleasure to have you here today, and I will probably contact you back for other purpose soon. And on that, if you have no any more questions, thanks a lot to all of you, and I wish you see you to the next seminar next month. So keep you posted about that, and thanks Alia and all the committee for the organization as well. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day. See you and thank you. Bye-bye.